What's good, guys? This is your boy ADazzle on the 1-2 Freedom Show. As you can see, I am joined and super privileged to be joined by Baron Black and Jonathan Gresham. We are about to talk about all things Terminus and anything else that comes up in the conversation. And I'm sure there are certain things you guys want to know, but we'll see what we can get out of these two and what I can find out. Boys, how are you doing? How's life? How's Atlanta?
I'm good, man. Atlanta's cold, actually. It's the day before Thanksgiving here. I don't think you guys
Yes.
celebrate that, but
No, we don't.
um, yeah, I got to go get the turkey and everything around like 7 tonight.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm just cleaning up the house, hanging out with the pups, getting ready for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Cool, cool, cool. Baron, yourself?
It's good. It's a beautiful day in Atlanta, even though it's cold as hell. I can't stand the cold. Um, yeah, I can't deal with no cold, man. It's been unrealistically cold here. Like it was like 25 last night. We don't do that here. I don't know what's going on,
Wow.
but I'm good. I'm ready to stuff myself on this Thanksgiving, have an epic cheat day. You know what I'm saying, and
Of course.
regret it afterwards. So.
That's the
No
whole point.
regret, no regret. Mm-mm.
I always regret it,
Oh, man.
but I go through it.
So let's get straight into it. We're here to talk about Terminus. What is Terminus? I've tried my best to stay away from reading whatever everyone else has put, any kind of, even other interviews that you've already done, just so I can hear it for myself. So what is Terminus? Is it a one-off event? Is it a promotion? What is Terminus?
Well, in short, for me, Terminus is Atlanta. It is passion. It is passion shared by two friends that love professional wrestling, and I think, and I'm thinking, and I'm hoping that the fans can feel the passion as well. I'm hoping that the boys that we hire, the women that we hire for the show, feel the passion and they display that passion on stage. So that is to me what Terminus is ultimately.
Mhm,
Baron, how
mhm.
about yourself? How?
Yeah, yeah. It's all those things he said, and also, which is funny. You the first person to not ask the question, where did the name Terminus come from? So
Ah,
that you're the first person not to ask it. So, but yeah, like when John said, it's Atlanta. That's what Atlanta name used to be back in the 1800s. Used to be called
okay,
Terminus.
interesting.
So that's what, yeah. So that's why we chose that name because this is going to be a brand for Atlanta,
Mm,
um, and we're going to try to make it probably the best wrestling event that this region, this city
mm.
has seen in a very long time.
Brilliant. So basically, these are two. This is two guys from Atlanta who want to give back to Atlanta, using their passion of pro wrestling. Are we saying that Terminus will only be, or at least in the near future, only be situated in Atlanta, or will it be the state of Georgia? Is it just the one? Is it just Atlanta?
That is something that we haven't even given thought to yet.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so many things are happening. Different phone. I just got off a phone call maybe 15, 20 minutes ago that blew my
Uh-huh.
mind. It was definitely Terminus related. So we just don't know. We just don't know. Right
Mm,
now, we just want to get January 16th in the books and then see what happens next.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
e-
Sounds good.
every everything is definitely about January 16th.
Mm,
Everything is definitely about all roads lead here to Terminus, which is Atlanta, Georgia. And that's the focus right now,
hmm
all the way up into January 16th.
For sure, for sure. So both of you are very well known for your technical abilities, technical wrestling, and by the time we're doing this interview, we already know that Daniel Garcia is going to be part of the show. Another, well-rounded technical wrestler. Is that the type of wrestling we're going to see? Of course, again, Jonathan, you're very much about the pure style. Is this what Terminus is going to be about? Are those the types of matches we're going to see?
You you can expect to see pure wrestling in Terminus.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm not going to try to keep that a secret
Mhm.
because if Ring of Honor does, everybody knows the situation with Ring of Honor. If
Mhm.
Ring of Honor does eventually dissolve, um, then Pure Wrestling will live on in Terminus.
Right.
But that is not the identity of Terminus.
Mhm.
Um, the identity of Terminus is a mixture of so many different philosophies and psychologies that have now been squashed together to create modern age grappling. So you're
Mhm.
going to get a little bit of the Lancashire style world of sport or Mount Everest, some people would call it.
Yeah.
You'll get a little bit of Kings Road. You'll get a little bit of strong style. You get a bit of entertainment, the American style. You're gonna get a little bit of everything
Mm.
under modern age grappling. That is exactly why we say styles makes fights.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice, nice, nice. So,
Yeah.
obviously, you're both from Atlanta, of course. But how did you two start this whole thing? Like, where did it come from? How did it begin? What was that first conversation?
That's on you, bro. My memory is shot on that.
The first conversation that we had, um, where it wasn't like a play conversation, where it
Mm,
was like kind of like a serious tone to it a little bit.
mm.
Um, I don't know if you're familiar with Beyond Wrestling. Are you familiar with
Yep.
them?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, before Beyond started becoming a live show, they used to do these tapings. You know,
Mm,
all the wrestlers would get together and they'll do Beyond Wrestling tapings. If you go to their YouTube, you can find old Beyond Wrestling tapings from back in 2012, 2011, stuff like that.
mm,
We did one here in Atlanta. Um, and I think after we did it, that's the first time me and John has ever talked about really running a show. But it was
mm,
always in the back of our head. We used to joke about it, but that was like the first time we actually talked about it seriously. So it's literally been years in the making. You know, that's not
mm,
like a just snazzy tagline. That's something that's really authentic and real. It's been years in the making, and ever since we did that taping for Beyond way back then, we have always talked about when are we gonna do this show? When are we gonna do this show? When are we gonna do this show? And then we finally thought about doing it in 2020. And we see the world almost ended at that point, so
right,
that
right,
canceled them plans.
right.
And so we had to push it off again. And we brought it up again after the pandemic started to recover a little bit, and that's where it came to talks early this year. And then we said, you know what? If it's time to do it, it's time to do it right now. And that's what we did. We made
Mm,
the decision to go for it. So it's been planned for a very long time.
It actually got changed. You forgot about that. We planned it
Yeah,
and we said, oh, it was going to be November 14th of this year.
okay.
And New Japan ended up running, and some of the people that we wanted to use, including myself, I wouldn't have been around for the show
Mm,
because they fly talent out like a day early
okay.
because I guess the West Coast shows like just want to make sure flights don't get delayed and stuff. So I was actually
Mm.
in LA on the 14th, and then on the 15th did the show. So we couldn't have ran Terminus on November anyway, November 14th. So they ended up changing it to January 16th, and nothing's going to stop us from doing
yeah, yeah.
um,
It was that, and also AEW had a pay per view weekend
it. Yeah.
for Full Gear. So I
right,
was
right.
busy too. So I was like, okay, this is not going to happen this date. This is not going to happen. So
Yeah.
So now, obviously, we know about Ring of Honor doing their final show in December. Hoping to come back in April. So obviously, it's freed you up now for this, January, to March. Um, was it more so that kind of helped in terms of scheduling Terminus?
No, Terminus was already planned before. The Terminus for the January 16th date was already planned before
Okay.
I found out anything about Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
So it had nothing to do with the Ring of Honor stuff.
Okay. 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 Speaking of Ring of Honor, how and when did you find out about this development now of either dissolving or you know, taking a
Uh,
hiatus?
I found out when everybody else did the same day that it hit Twitter or wherever it came
Okay.
out was the same day we all found out. We just had a big Zoom call.
Okay.
A couple of maybe like 20 minutes before it got posted online.
Mhm.
We're already on the call for about like an hour, I'm going to say. So I found out along with all my roster mates, and
Hmm.
Yeah, it just took everybody by surprise. I knew it wasn't going to be the best of news, but I didn't think it was going to
Okay.
be that news.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here's a tough question. How confident are you that there will be a return in April?
I'm confident that there will be a supercar show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know anything else because that's what
Mm,
they have told the fans is what they've told the roster members.
right. Right. Right.
So the ones that want to stick around for Supercar will stick around. The ones that don't, obviously, will go elsewhere and get signed
Mm.
or try to get signed. So
Baron, we know obviously you've been a regular star or feature on in AEW on Dark Elevation. Um, we've had I know on my page I've had so many times people are saying, "Why is he not signed? Why is he not signed? Where's his where is the Baron Black is all elite graphic?" What is your status with AEW and yeah, what's happening?
um, if I had, if I just had 5 cents every time I got that question, I would be a multi-millionaire. That's how much I get that question all day,
Yeah.
every day. And it's like, guys, you're asking the wrong person. You should be asking me that question. There's
Yeah.
obviously some other people you should be asking that question to, not me.
Right, right, right.
My status with AEW is very good.
Mm-hmm,
They have a very big. They value me. They see me
mm-hmm,
as an asset,
mm-hmm.
and I'm very reliable for them. So that's why you always see me on the shows more than any other, non-sign talent that they have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, well, I'm working for it to get in that all elite graphic. Um, will it happen? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm,
don't know, but hey, if the fans want it, the fans need to speak on it and they need to be loud about it. I
right.
mean, it happened for, one of my buddies that also was in the same situation with me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fuego. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, if you want it, you got to make it known. So
Right.
that's the only answer I got for you on that question. But
um,
trust me, I
how
see it all day. I see it all day.
how has that journey been? Because obviously, we first saw you around a time when the pandemic hit and all these restrictions were going on, um, and you came in with a whole host of different people who every now and again we'd see them. Um, what was that like? Like how is it different to the first time you appeared to how things are with AEW now?
The first time it was such a small. You knew it was the big league. It was a big platform, the big TV league.
Mm-hmm.
Per se, but being the COVID restrictions, we was in a very closed set. It was only a certain number of people. It was just the
Right.
wrestlers and the production crew, some of the coaches, and the extra talent that came and worked. So it felt like a small operation, but it was a big operation. It wasn't until we actually started letting fans in, so I was like, "Oh, this is way bigger. This feels so much bigger now." So
Mm-hmm.
when they first went back on the road in Miami, and they booked me for it, and I seen all the people, just line up, and I was going through the door, and they was yelling my name. I was like, "How do these people even know who I am?" Like, like I'm not even. I haven't even really been featured on the television programs, but they
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
who I was, and people sticking around in hotels just trying to take a picture with you. It's like it was so surreal. I've never experienced nothing like that before. And then when I went out there, finally, I think I wrestled Will Hobbs that night. And I went out
Mm-hmm.
there and they was like, "Oh, Baron, I see you on the blog," and they yelling from the seat. I was like, "There's so many people in here." I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So that's when it really hit me. Like, oh shit, like man, this feels way bigger than what we was doing in Jacksonville because it
Right.
was just a COVID thing. You know what I'm saying? So it feels like the situation you always dreamed of as a kid when you wanted to become a pro wrestling star.
Mm.
So that's what it feels like every time I go to work now every week. It's like seeing the fans line up, and I mean line up very early. They're out there when we get there, and it's like 8 hours before the show, and you have to barricade them off because they'll just basically mob you. It's like
Right.
this is so surreal to be going through this. It's like you never thought you would get to that point in your career where people will be mobbing you and all this other
Right.
stuff. So it's like it's just been great. I just been enjoying it, honestly. Just been
That's
enjoying the
good,
ride.
John. So obviously with Ring of Honor, you still had no shows in front of crowds. I think you probably had one or two. What was that like going from the crowds to virtually nothing, but still having to put on this whole, especially with the pure tournament. What was that like?
For a lot of guys, readjusting to having no fans was a bit difficult, but for me, I'm pretty sure Baron was used to it as well because like
Mm,
WA4 when Hughes was training us back here in Atlanta,
mm,
uh, our WA4 shows started with no one,
yeah.
and then we started putting it on YouTube for us to watch it when we got home.
Mm,
But it was public, so other people started watching it, and then people actually started showing up to the shows on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights at WA4 to where they actually became like something that we actually had to start just doing regularly.
right.
So I'm used to wrestling in front of no people. I started with Drew Cardero with Beyond Wrestling probably in the end of 2010, middle of
Mm-hmm.
2010. And I remember one of the first tapings, it was me, Drew Gulak, a number of other guys in a warehouse in Allentown, Pennsylvania,
Wow.
wrestling like 13, 14 matches, just filming there. So, like, wrestling in front of no one has never really bothered me.
Mm,
I think
mm,
for the way that I wrestle, it actually gives me more time to, like, pay attention to like a little intricate details of the story that I'm
okay.
trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So and the fans coming back uh, and trying to keep a lot of that pure style, is I learned a lot of how to stay consistent with that style in front of the fans from not
Mm,
having them and then periodically wrestling in front of fans, still trying to use some of the same stuff. So I learned a lot during the period. It's done wonders for my in-ring game, I think. But to answer your question, it was pretty easy for me.
You mentioned WWA4. Of course, that's where both of you trained under Mr. Hughes, now under the tutelage of AR Fox. We've seen so many different wrestlers coming from that school. Sean Dean, Leon Ruff, Moose was there at one point, I believe. Apollo Cruz, Kira Hogan, so many. How important do you see WWA4 being to the stars of today?
Early on in early WA4 days, when I came, and this is a story that I like to tell new trainees because I'm an
Mm,
assistant trainer at a Nightmare Factory now. Um, so I tell them this. I was like, the first day I stepped into WA4 when decided I wanted to be a wrestler, there was one other guy that signed up the same day with me, and that was Apollo Cruz.
wow.
It was like me, Apollo Cruz, and like 9 other people. By the end of the week, it was just me and him. And we the
Wow.
only two that survived that week. And trust me,
Wow.
I wanted to quit too, but I was like, I ain't got money to throw away, so I ain't quitting. That I can't throw away money. So and I tell him that too because I was like, you never know where your path can end up at if you just keep at it.
Mm,
And
mm,
I think I've landed in a great place, and I definitely can see he landed in a great place. So, um, but how important it was, I think that place attracted people because it attracted people who are hungry and
mm,
people who probably were from our ethnic background who
mm,
doesn't have that many funds to spend on a dream like that. It was a
mm,
very affordable school.
mm.
And that's what attracted me to it because
Wow.
I was like, I wanted to do, and I was searching for schools, and I was like, I don't have this type of money they showing. And I found WB4, and it was a very attractive price. I was like, okay,
Mm,
I can do that. I can save up and get that amount of money. And I think that's why we put out so many great stars because it was affordable for people to get into it
mm,
and chase their dream. That's why so many people that you just named just came from that school because in talking to them, it was like that was their only option to really try to do it because they really didn't have the financial backing at that point in time to go for it.
mm.
They were
So
passionate, man. Just
yeah,
didn't have the
and it's
money.
the passion for it, and you just didn't have the money. So I was really thankful for WA4 existing and having that price point, because I don't think I would be a wrestler right now if that wasn't there at that point in time.
Dude, like so many of the schools that I remember at that time, because I remember when I was looking, I didn't know WA4 existed, and so I met Rocky King, but in like a parking lot show that he was running. But anyway, all the schools it was like $3, $4, $5,000 for a few months, and then I came across WA4, and it was literally $999 for a lifetime membership, and I was like, no brainer, let me go there. And then that's when I met Heath Miller, I met the Hooligans, you know, Amy and Rios, Wheezy Woo, remember Wheezy? Then of course AR Fox showed up, and then Paulo Cruz, and then Baron. Several other people showed up. So it's just like, yeah, just a bunch of passionate guys, man. It just didn't come from money. It came to that school. So
yeah. It's crazy. You know, I mentioned so many, and I know that when I was starting my page and doing this, you know, I kind of started out just searching for as many black wrestlers as I could. I came across WA4 and I was like, right, hit the jackpot, I'm good. I've got so many here, it's crazy. You know, so you guys say that it was affordable. Do you think? You know, you kind of answered the question, but do you think that was the complete difference when it came to the amount of black students that were at that school?
well, I think you're also talking about Foot Industrial in Atlanta, Georgia. So I mean, only a, a certain group of guys would feel comfortable coming to the back of a strip club on Foot Industrial Boulevard. So like, I can't tell you how many times I've like gotten off of MARTA, which is our bus system, and I'm like walking up the street, and I literally see like fresh blood on the ground, like a big huge big pile of it, and it's like, wow, somebody got fucked up right here. So like it was normal, like, you know, like working the side of the street. Like I remember one time, this is the craziest story I have after training. I used to have to ride the bus. I used to get out of high school in DeKalb County, which is like, I don't know, 40 minutes away on the bus. Get on that, come all the way to Foot Industrial Boulevard, train from, I don't know, like 6 to like 11 at night, get on the bus to go home. One night I was like waiting in the little vestibule for the bus, and this guy runs up to me, and there's like sirens up the street going off. He's like, oh shit, bro. I'm like, what? He was like, some dude got stabbed in the neck with a syringe. And I was like, what? Like, what? Like, what? Like, in the neck with a syringe. Like, what? Who does that? Who does that?
Oh boy!
Wow. So how different was it to be a black kid in Atlanta who wanted to wrestle? What was that like? Like through training, through, you know, meeting up with friends and all the rest of it. What was that like? I'll go to Baron for that.
Yeah, it's from your parents' perspective and the generation before you. It was a little bit frowned upon a little bit. They kind of laughed at it. It was like, this is what you're going to do? This is going to waste your life on? You need to get a real job. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Because you can understand it. And I don't know if it's different there in the UK, but my mom's generation and Gresham parent generation, you know, they grew up where, you know, opportunities for us to seek our dreams wasn't as prevalent. So you had to really grind really hard, and they had to bust their ass. And my mom was a single parent. I seen her bust her ass. She had to do all this other stuff, 2 jobs, daycare, all that. So they see that you got to work just as hard as they do, which is still true, but not a lot of them in that generation see that it's opportunities for us to chase something that we are actually passionate about. And when it comes to something like wrestling, it's like, well, I don't really see the return in it. Like how much money you make when you wrestle. You know what I mean? How you going to pay your bills? How you going to do that? It's like, well, this is more of an investment type of dream,
right? Where
you'll get all the rewards at the end. And so it was hard from that aspect when it came to your older elders in your family. As far as your peers around you, they were just as energetic with you about it as you were.
Mm-hmm.
because it was an exciting thing to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I'll never forget, like, when we was doing these shows at WA4, how many kids will come in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they was African American kids, and they were
Mm-hmm.
just so excited to see us wrestle, and they would literally come, and then some of them would say, "Well, I'm gonna join soon. I'm gonna join soon," and you can see the excitement in them, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
we knew that we was doing something great from a representation standpoint
Right.
because it makes them see that, hey, you can do this too whenever you become of age. It's not like basketball or football is the only option or you have to go to
Mm-hmm.
college. This is something else that you can do. There's other ventures we can do that more than what is typically stereotyped as
Mm-hmm.
African Americans that we can do as far as a career.
Right.
So that's how it was for me. That's how I viewed it.
Mm. Mm. John, what was your journey like?
uh, I'm a little different. I think Baron was a lot more mature than I was when I was coming up. Um, I got in a lot of trouble when I
Mm.
was younger. I recently only started being comfortable talking about it because I feel like I have to start being more transparent and honest. But I was a bad kid. Like I
Mm.
was
Mm.
a bad kid. I got put out of there's like DeKalb County, so I got put out of all the elementary schools in DeKalb County for fighting kids and teachers, and then
Wow.
I, my mom had to use like some family members' like addresses and stuff just for me to go in Fulton County, and
Wow.
then I got put out of all of those schools. So my mom, literally, I never forget the conversation. She said, "Look," and my mom was single parent as well. Like we used to like in the wintertime have to boil water in buckets, and then like use that in the tub to wash. I
Mm.
remember sometimes we did it so much that my mom was so tired that she would just let me take a bath, and then she just wouldn't take a bath that night. But
Mm.
anyway, yeah, I put my mom through hell, and eventually she had to send me to preparatory school. It was either that or it was going to juvenile. So she sent me to
Wow.
preparatory school, which she had to pay for. And that's when I met this guy named Reverend Miller, and I was always obsessed with wrestling. Um, and then I got there and I tried to fight him. Little did I know he was like a college wrestling athlete, D1. So he like jacked me up, put me on the wall, and when that happened, he looked at me in my face and was like, "You got heart. You should get on my wrestling team." And I literally remember going wrestling, and then
Mm.
my life changed completely. I
Wow.
was just obsessed. And so I literally thought amateur wrestling was the way for me to get to pro wrestling.
Mm.
So when Baron speaks about like, noticing different things early in wrestling, like being touched by these younger kids saying that they wanted to be wrestlers too, that didn't really hit me until much later when I realized all of the hard work that I had been putting in, nobody gave a fuck about. And it
Mm.
wasn't because I wasn't good. It was because I was short, and then it was also because
Mm.
I was African American. And that's when I started to realize the landscape and like the glass ceiling that they have, put over most of us or all of
Mm.
us, or they try to
Mm.
put there. And it really hit me one day. I was wrestling in Alabama, maybe around 2006. I was wrestling for this company called GCW in Alabama.
Mhm.
It was like on a Thursday night. It ran regularly, and I was always the first match. And I went to the promoter and I said, "Hey, I really want to like you know, go up the card, learn how to be like a mid card guy, possibly a main eventer or whatever, whatever." And he
Mhm.
looked at me and was like, "No, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Opened up the show hot. We need you there. That's your spot." And
Wow.
I said to myself, "I want more." And that's when I took it upon myself to leave. So,
Mhm.
like coming up in Atlanta for me was a lot. It was super difficult as far as like getting out of the school and trying to like
Mhm.
pursue like bookings in my dream. It was a lot more difficult than I even realized. uh Looking back in hindsight now, I see how difficult it was. When I was in it, I was just grinding so hard that it didn't matter. I just knew I needed to get to the next step, and I did everything I could to make it to the next step. And
Mm.
when I finally look up now, I'm realizing some things that were like, oh man, that dude was an asshole to me. I didn't even acknowledge disrespect. Like I was so tuned in and tunnel vision that I didn't even recognize blatant disrespect until years
Mm.
later. So now those same people try to contact me and try to talk to me now, and it's just so it's so different because my initial reaction to them is like fuck you, motherfucker. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm bigger than that. Let me just be normal and be chill with this. But yeah, that's basically. I hope I answered the question. And I got on a little talking.
That's all right. That's fine. That's good. That's good. That's good. So you have obviously both started out WA4. You're working together doing Terminus. Is there a chance of you both being together in AEW?
Oh man!
You know what's funny? Let me take this so you don't have to have that pressure. Okay.
That's what friends do. That's what friends do.
What's funny is that we starting to see the technician slash career slash grappler being featured a little bit more on television, and the first thing it once that started happening and people started bringing up my name a little bit more, tweeting a little bit more about such and such, and then all of a sudden the Ring of Honor news comes out, and now the tweets literally have me and him together in every fucking tweet I see. It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's off the chain. So when Jay Lethal debuted, I'll never forget how many times I got tweets of, "Oh, Barry needs to start a stable with Jay Lethal and John Gresham." I'm like, y'all slow down. I can't do anything. Like I can't do anything.
None of us.
But none of us can't do nothing. You know what I mean? And
that's not how wrestling works, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You get locked up if I go backstage without permission. So, hey, we're just gonna walk out there and start a fucking stable. Yeah.
So to answer your question, is I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? He works for this other company right now. I work for this company over here, AEW, and you just never know what happens. That's why wrestling say never, because you just never know where somebody's gonna pop up at or where they're gonna be or who knows, man. I show up at work and what's the plan right now? That's what I'm going with. That's what we do.
So you mentioned Jay Lethal obviously debuting, I think it was last week, and he did say that at one point, he pulled a few strings in order to get signed or get noticed by someone else before his Ring of Honor contract literally came to an end. John, do you have any kind of desire or a plan in your mind as to what you're going to do in this 3 months or whatever else where there's going to be no Ring of Honor? Is there a plan in your mind already, or is it kind of just let's see what happens?
It's definitely a plan there. It's not complete because I don't like to put things in stone in my mind like this has to happen, that has to happen. I just kind of want to. My entire journey in wrestling has been geared towards me becoming a part of Ring of Honor. I finally became a part of Ring of Honor. Accomplished my goal, my dream. I've surpassed it in many ways, and I just want to find my passion again. My wrestling, if people think it's good, if they've seen matches that they thought were amazing or awesome, and I was a part of it, that is because I had a passion, I had a goal in mind, a destination in mind. And for me to continue to be the same John Gresham that people have come to see and get used to, I need to find my passion again. And with Ring of Honor dissolving possibly, my passion will more than likely dissolve with it. So for me, I'm more concerned about my mental health, my personal finances, and just getting all that stuff in order before I even gear up to try to contact the company and become a part of a bigger company and be on the road all the time away from my puppies and my wife. I got so used to the structure of Ring of Honor and the amount of shows that we did, and be able to go and take a date if I wanted to, and I was able to, you know, invite my wife to shows, and then we would take a break, and then, like, for example, I went to do Wrestle Circus in the
Yep.
UK, and then
Yeah.
off the back of that, we went to Barcelona and had a vacation for a couple of days.
Right.
It was amazing, and I just really enjoyed all my hard work paying off to where I could have that life, and I'm not really ready to let it go. If that makes sense. So, um, yeah, I hope I answered your question, man. That's just
Yeah.
me really like putting my feelings and my thoughts out there. So hopefully I
Yeah.
answered your question.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, what's all that, man? What is all that, bro? What you doing that for? What you doing that
It's
for?
all good. It's all good. I'm waiting on him to ask that big question that you always get on Twitter.
Oh, so
you know,
it's
About
not me.
about,
Okay.
about a certain opponent.
oh, you know what? My next question, I don't know if it was the question, but my next question was actually, like, for both of you, who is, it's the typical question, but who is your dream opponent? And have you already faced them?
Dream opponent.
Mm.
I'll go first because he has a whole, story about his dream opponent, a whole monologue. So I'll go first about mine. My dream opponent, and he still doesn't know this, but he's probably going to know now, because I just never had the guts to actually tell him, even though I see him every week and he talks to me every week. Chris Jericho is my dream opponent.
Oh, fuck.
Chris Jericho is my
I was talking about me.
and no, I want to talk about you. I don't wrestle you like 11 times, man.
No, you said you talk to him every week. Who you talk to every week besides me? Like,
it's Chris Jericho is my dream opponent. I just hope I can get that match before he decides that he doesn't want to wrestle anymore. He has no idea, but I'm pretty sure everybody's going to tell him now that this is going to get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. John, who is your dream opponent?
I do not have one. To be honest, no. Why are you acting like that?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I've wrestled everyone that I've wanted to wrestle.
Okay.
Dude, why are you acting like that?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Why you do that, man? You don't see this shit. You over here acting like that.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I've literally wrestled everybody that I wanted to wrestle. To be honest, I just don't have a dream opponent anymore. I just really love wrestling, and I just want to wrestle as much as possible and all around the world. So, dude.
All I'm saying is that if the streets are calling for it, then it has to be some validation behind it. I cannot go on Twitter, not one effing day, without seeing Bryan Danielson and Jonathan Gresham in the same tweet. I can't.
It's a huge match for me. It's a huge match for me. But, like, I'm trying to think of the last dream match that I got a chance. Okay, so the legit dream match that I did want for a very long time, my favorite wrestler in the entire world is Ikuto Hidaka. I found him maybe around like 2005, and I just fell in love with everything he did. Psychology made me understand it because he did it in a way that just resonated with me. And in 2012, I got a chance to wrestle with Ikuto Hidaka. I would definitely love to wrestle with him again. Alex Shelley knows him very well. Shelley is also a student of Ikuto Hidaka. I got a chance to train under Hidaka while I was in 01. But I guess my dream would be wrestling Hidaka on a huge stage. I would like to do that.
As I said, you've announced Daniel Garcia already. I'm sure you already have people ready to go or people in mind.
Today we announced Bandito as well.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, today.
Can you give me an exclusive as to anyone else?
So making their debut at Terminus, January 16th, 2022, is Janaya Kai.
Ooh,
She gonna
that's
whoop somebody's
that's
ass,
that's
boy.
that's a strong. That's a strong choice. That's a strong choice. Yeah, man, Janai Kai has been killing it, especially the last 2 years. I know she's been wrestling for about 4 years. But the last two, she's definitely come into her own. And
Mhm.
done some amazing things. Amazing to watch. I saw clips of her last match. I think it was with Shine against Nicole Savoy.
Ooh,
Crazy, crazy match.
I bet
So
that was bad. Yeah, I bet that was good.
that's the exclusive. That's the exclusive. I'm gonna make sure I post that before you post it out. But yeah, man,
Okay,
that's massive. That's massive, especially for her as
definitely.
well. Especially for her as well.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Are you looking to have many more females? Have you thought of the ratio, or in terms of males and females, or is it just how it works?
Baron, do you want to take this or?
Well, obviously, Janai Kai has to face somebody.
Of course. Well, she has faced a few men this year as well, so it's
Yeah,
still
but I can give you this tidbit. She will be facing a female
okay.
women's wrestler.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
so that will be another announcement for another day.
Or do you want
But
to just do a double whammy right now,
Let's
bro? What do you
go.
want to do?
I'll do
double
that.
whammy.
Slam
What?
dunk it right now. It's up to you, man.
That's not.
It's
No,
up to you, bro.
that's not double whammy yet.
No, no, no. Okay.
We got so much good stuff coming, so it's like let's
Good,
not
good, good.
let Janai get her shine, her day,
That's
because
true.
she deserves it.
That's true.
She
That's
Yeah.
true.
deserves
Yeah, she's awesome, man.
And here's probably my final question. But being obviously two African American wrestlers running this show, you two are heading the show. Um is there any thought on kind of making it a black predominant, or are you thinking of making sure it delivers for our for African American or black wrestling fans?
it. I think, as you can see with the three talent announcements that we have right now, which is
Mm,
Daniel Garcia,
mm,
Bandito,
mm,
Janai Kai. Um, you now see that if you are a great grappler slash wrestler,
mm,
you will probably end up in tournaments.
mm,
So, with that being said, obviously we are both African American, and there's a lot of great, outstanding African American talent out there.
mm.
And on Terminus, you will see great African American talent, along with the talents that you have seen announced so far in Janai Kai, Bandito, and Daniel Garcia.
Nice, nice, nice. Cool. John, any final thoughts either on that question or just in general when it comes to Terminus?
Mm, no, I think I've done my good share. I think I've done my share of talking. I think of anything else. Bear, is there anything else we need to add, man?
Yeah, Terminus, January 16th, all roads lead here. Bring your ass to the show.
Yo, that's
That's
our
what
next
it is.
tagline for the show. If we do another show,
Bring your
if
ass.
we do another show, that's it. We got to get my mom to do it too.
Bring your ass to the show. It's going to
Um,
be us. It's going to be an event. And the reception has been so great. I mean, the trailer over 200,000 views.
yeah.
Um, the reception has been great. The announcements have gotten a lot of feedback. Tickets are already rolling, so it's like it feels like a big grand spectacle that's about to go down, and I think the Atlanta region, the city of Atlanta, it's a perfect place for it because this place used to be a hotbed for wrestling, and that's basically what one of our core priorities is trying to do is to bring that feeling back to Atlanta, where Atlanta is a destination point for professional wrestling, for fans, for wrestlers alike.
Finally, how can people get tickets? How much are the tickets? Where do we need to go?
They can go to terminustickets.com. They can look up anything Terminus on my personal Twitter page, which is the John Gresham, or Black Baron's Twitter page, which is
At the Emperor, or on my Instagram, which our host, currently follows. The underscore Emperor, as featured in Wrestle and Drip almost every week. So
regular.
So it will be plenty. Also on Facebook, every social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Find me, find Gresham. You will see the Terminus announcements. There's an Eventbrite page. The terminustickets.com link will take you directly to the Eventbrite page, which is updated daily with all the information, ticket info, the extras that come with the tickets, that tiers that you select. There is a ticket for you. If you are a fan, you will find something that will be.
I thought you meant there was a ticket for me, but anyway, don't worry about it.
Also, there's Terminus Pro that is on Twitter at Terminus Pro. There's no space in that, but that is the Terminus page now that we will soon be releasing all information from.
Well, guys, this has been the 1-2-3 show with your boy ADazzle, Jonathan Gresham, and Baron Black. And we'll see you again next time.